Barrel. We're live.
Put that thing on the other side.
Thank you.
Get that alternated.
Alternated.
Negative.
801, I think. Okay, all right, that's the idea. That is action item, okay. Resolution 56. Okay, we're back in session. It's 8:02 p.m. We're gonna jump up on the agenda a little bit and, it's an action item. Discuss number 10. Discuss, consider, and take action on resolution 1560, approval of the application, filing and authorize Representative Jacob and Martin concerning the Texas Water Development Board funds with a formal vote recorded on the resolution itself. We've got Mr. King.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. King's gonna come forward from Jacob and Martin. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me. My name is Tristan King. I'm with Jacob and Martin. Before you today is the application resolution to apply for funds from the Texas Water Development Board to fund lead service line inventory and replacement. For those of you who may not be aware, the EPA passed a rule that all public water systems have to do an inventory of all service lines in their system to determine if there's lead or galvanized or anything that is a corrosive material and there's an accident up north in the country and they messed up the pH and it caused some lead poisoning. So that's what all this is stemming from. The inventory is due at the middle of October of next year. So October 16th, 2024 is when the inventory has to be completed. The replacement from whatever that inventory is has to be done within the next 10 years after the inventory. 10 years. 10 years after the inventory, whatever is deemed as necessary to be replaced has to be completed within that 10 years. So earlier in the year, February, March timeframe, Texas Water Development Board came out with this funding opportunity. We put in what's called a project information form or a PIF to throw the city's name into the hat to get this funding. So we are working on an application. Assuming the city decides to continue and pass this resolution, the project is a 51% grant, 49% loan. The inventory portion, there's two different phases of this. If you did the inventory only, it's a 15-year loan at 49% of whatever that total is, at 0% interest. If you do a construction portion or a replacement of whatever you find in that inventory, that's a 30-year loan, also at 49%. And that's a regular low interest rate. We don't know exactly what that is, 2.5%, 3%. You'll see a big number on that resolution, $5.4 million. That is a pretty conservative estimate. That's assuming that every single service line in town is going to have to be replaced, which is most likely not the case. But whenever we put in the PIF for the funding, we did so knowing that you cannot go up. You can't ever ask for more money. You can always go down, but you can't ask for more. So we said, worst case scenario, everything is going to have to be replaced. So again, this resolution is just for the city to apply and move forward with the process. The application is due at the end of this month, December 29th. Once that gets done, if you guys decide to move forward with it, it'll be probably June or something before we could actually get started on the inventory. And then we would most likely hire somebody out to go out and use various methods to inventory all the service lines. And then we have to document that. City has to turn in forms to TCEQ again before the October deadline. Once that's done, you can continually update this inventory, and that's what they expect. This initial one, if you're not using funding, they expect it to be a pretty cursory review of what you've got. And they allow you to say, I don't know what this material is. But they do expect you to go back and refine that list later. Since we're gonna be utilizing funding to do this, our recommendation would be is to do it thoroughly the first time, so we don't have to do it again. Are there any questions about this?
What our chances look like?
100%.
Okay, so we'd hire a contractor to come in and start checking these lines and seeing what we got, right?
Yes, yes. And then after the inventory is done, so that would be phase one or step one of this process. We were estimating about a little over $3.4 million in the replacement. Again, assuming every single service line had to be replaced. After the inventory is done, we can update that number and we can go down on that cost. So we would close on a loan / grant for the inventory portion, we would do the inventory, and then that would get rolled into a construction loan for the 30-year time period. Again, that number can go down, it just can't go up. So we assume worst case scenario, but after the inventory is done, I expect it to go down significantly. Really, anything post 1980s or so is good. Anything that's older than that has a possibility of being one of the materials that they've identified to be replaced.
So I'm assuming that y'all will look at maps that we've got,
Yes.
and hopefully our water department has upgraded them maps as they've upgraded pipe.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah, and we've got a lot of old plans from various projects throughout the years that we can knock off sections of the city, and that's one of the things that the EPA and TCQ, they want you to do a historical record review. They don't really want you going out and digging up every single one, but for those that we don't know or that we don't have records for, that might be the case. So again, we're assuming worst case scenario, contractors have to go out and dig up every single one.
And we did send out an inventory list to all the customers, and we got minimal return, and those that we did, a lot of cities said they didn't know what line they had, so we did take those steps.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
6 months ago?
Right.
3-4 months ago? I looked at it, so I don't know.
I don't know what I got.
I didn't
Would they actually like dig a big hole to check, or can they probe it? Like make a small opening and
As long as, I mean, it would have to be a big enough opening to get to it and to be able to document it accurately. So, for example, lead or galvanized, it pretty much looks the same, right, the surface line. You can do a scratch test on lead, it has kind of a shine to it, and lead's not magnetic, whereas galvanized is. So you would have to be able to dig a hole large enough to be able to get in there and do all the tests.
so is galvanized not allowed? No galvanized, no lead? What do they want? Steel or,
Plastic would be
I
preferred.
mean, yeah, plastic, yeah.
PVC,
As far as
poly,
what could we leave in the ground that might be there now?
copper. Some copper is okay. There's of course a regulatory requirement on how much copper you can have in your system, but back in the day, they used copper and had lead solder. That would need to be replaced. But, again, anything past 1988 or so is probably okay.
We might get everything.
Yeah.
No, there's some of it that's not, way back there, but there's a lot of it that's still.
But you're talking like from the main line and then where it tees off and goes to like my water meter.
Yes.
But from my water meter, who cares what I've got?
Right. That is the customer's responsibility, their portion.
I do know I have PVCs. I have PVC. But it's from the meter to the main. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody questions?
Well, we kind of don't have a choice, do we?
Well, there's a couple different options. If you wanted to save on cost, the city can do the inventory themselves, but that takes, labor from fixing water leaks and sewer leaks and regular maintenance.
No, I mean, not that. I mean, we don't have the choice. We have to do it
Yes.
regardless.
Right. Yes.
So I mean, whether we hire it and do it in-house, we've got to do it no matter what.
Yes,
So you said it's 5.4, that's an aggressive number, I'm trying to, I'm high end, right?
yes, that's we won't know until the inventory is done. Once the inventory is done, we can come down on that number, which I really expect to happen. We don't want the city to take on a loan that isn't necessary. We're, to get the funding, we were trying to be conservative and inflate that number a little bit. Like I said, we can't ever go up. We can go down, but we can't go up, so.
You said 51 grant, 49 loan?
Yes. And the inventory is a 15-year loan if you only get inventory, but it's a 30-year loan for the whole project.
And you said y'all probably wouldn't start till possibly June. Does that give you enough time between then and October?
Oh, yeah. If we hire somebody out, we talked to a contractor and they can do 200 meters a day. And they'll have in the neighborhood of 1,400, so 7 days. If they sent that same magnitude, but, a couple months would be hard to get it done. And the actual paperwork that has to be done is just a form. So it's not bad.
Any more discussion? Dr. Brazier, anything?
No, sir. I think, I want to thank Tristan for coming all this way to
Absolutely.
explain this. He's sort of expert, knows more about it than I do, so I appreciate him
Chris,
doing that, so thank you.
just keep us in the loop on this as we go through. I guess we need a motion to on resolution 1560 to approve the application, filing and authorized representative, or for the application, I guess.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 1560.
Okay, we have a motion made, and we have a second.
I second.
Councilman Hendricks seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Okay, it is approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Be safe.
Okay, we're gonna get back on track. We'll go to number, two. City administrator, action regarding, you wanna do that now? Action regarding executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Is there any action regarding the executive session? I don't think we took any action.
No action needed.
No action was needed or taken. Thank you, Dr. Brazier. We're now to city administrator reports.
Thank you. A couple things I want to report on. I'll try to do this quickly. I did get an email today requesting that we start organizing for the end of January to do the sandblasting and the repainting of the water tower behind City Hall. And so John and Chase are discussing that right now. I think right now they're kind of leaning toward kind of kicking the can down the road just a little bit until Mr. Studer is back on his feet. I think they feel more comfortable because he really understands the complexity of the system, and that way if we had an issue, he could be there on time and get it resolved. Otherwise, we may have to lean on someone from Metroplex or someone to come in and end up the city not having water. So we're still praying for Mr. Studer's recovery, and I think when he gets back, we'll start organizing and start moving forward. I don't think it's critical right now. I think it needs some work, but yeah, I think we wait even another year. I think we'd be fine. So I just want y'all to know that could be coming down the pipe here in the very near future. Police department, y'all's report is there in your packet. Any questions about that? I want y'all to know that the Texas came by and they stocked the north tank with trout. I think about 115, 116 trout. I see some people down there fishing, and so that's exciting. Also, the shooting range. I think we have 10 people now that's membered up. So we're moving forward with our gun range. We have all our range officers trained. We're fully insured, and I think Todd did a fantastic job of getting the range cleaned up, fixed up, painted, and implementing a lot of safety protocols. So if you've not been out there, I think Todd just appreciate y'all coming out there and looking and seeing all the hard work and what they've done. I think that supervisors are really proud of what they do, and so if y'all just have a chance to go by and look at that, I think that would be awesome. We have a financial report. Got that to me today. So for the month, we're $26,800 in the black. For the year, we're $54,912 in the hole. because we know we don't generate such revenue this time of year, so we continue to monitor that. If you look at all the, different, department reports, it looks like we're pretty much in line with the exception of the street department. The street department has had some significant, repairs. They had to take the skid steer in, I think they paid about 20-something thousand to get it repaired. And, they just had a lot of mechanical, failures and breakdowns. And, but at the same time, I just want to reiterate that Ronnie and, even David, have really done a great job of maintaining, their equipment. They take a lot of pride in that as well. So the thoughtful thing has happened, and we are at 25% at wastewater, which is what we should be, there. So we're about a quarter way through the budget. So anyway, any questions, concerns about that?
Now, the only thing I've got, is when they start to work on the water tower behind the fire department, if they can make sure they keep that one door on the west unblocked, where we can get a truck out that door.
Okay. Yes.
Cause it's kinda close to the, where the dumpster's at and the water tower. And we've had people block that door before.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I've got.
I'll take care of it. Absolutely. Okay. All right, if not, we'll be moving forward. Election information, Lauren has put together an election calendar, for y'all to look at. So those who are up for re-election, make sure you keep that, on your, calendar, and, make sure you come and, get your, application, get that filled out, and, follow that as well. So I think we have a great council. I think we're making a lot of great, movement forward. And if you do all the research or read the research, it says if you have a school board or a council that stays together, then you're gonna make a whole lot more progress. When you get a new council and council members, sometimes it changes direction, and, there's a lot of, things you have to maneuver and work through for, the council really becomes a unit. So anyway, I think when you have a good thing going, I think y'all need to stick together and minimally, at least as we move through this, issue regarding Bay Water. So anyway, just encourage y'all to follow that, get that taken care of. Also, I think it's important to note that, starting January 1st, you're going to see our increase in our power costs. And I thought it was real important, for the council to kind of be equipped and have some talking points. So when you're approached in the community, I think you just need to have some really basic talking points. So I did ask Lauren to put this together, this energy rate configuration form. We'll kind of walk you through that one, but also Shine Engineering has kind of sent us a synopsis of how this process works. But I think some of the key talking points I need to lead off with was that our current contract expires December 31st. And so Schneider Engineering, has, shopped on behalf of the city for competitive prices. And so they've been there for quite some time, for numerous months. Within that process, they felt that LCR was the most competitive. Hence, that was the contract that we brought to y'all, which y'all approved, on October 18th and signed, for the new 3-year contract, which began in January 2026. The new contract is higher, but, again, the contract that we have, based on what Schneider Engineering tells us, that is market value rate. So you might go out there and you might find a municipality or somebody that has a cheaper rate, but those contracts will expire, and you're going to continue to see those rates increase. And that's because of the locality of the market. And that market, if you read that synopsis, is because of COVID and the winter freeze, well, not COVID, because of the winter freeze, and a lot of other increase in the windmills and all those type of things. So there's a lot of variables that come into play with that. So the increase that you see is market increase, and I think it's probably the best rate that we can find out there. I think you find another lower, it might be because some municipalities gone to 15, 20, 25-year contracts as well. So if we had been in position, I would like the council to at least look at that, but we weren't in a position to bring that to y'all this time. So we went with 3-year because we got a better rate. We used a 2-year, and that would help us get everything in line. And maybe at the end of that 3-year, we can present to y'all maybe a 15, 20, 25-year for lease for y'all to look at and consider. So that's how that played out. So next we just kind of want to look at this energy rate configuration form. And so Lauren put this together. She may have to help me move through this a little bit. But our electrical contract is basically broken up into 2 different forms. Or 2 different categories. Their base rate and the wholesale power cost. And if you look at that base rate, that's just what, I guess, through ordinance, what it costs to generate money to maintain our M&O budgets. Okay, and so, but that energy charge depends on if you're residential, general, or large commercial. So obviously, it costs more for large commercial in general than with the residential, and that's why you would see a slight increase, because it does, I guess, create more of a burden on the budgets to maintain those higher volumes of electricity. Okay, so that's static, and that's at 0.482, and that was determined, of course, our engineer said that it will not change. And then next, we have power cost adjustment. And if you look at that as the total cost of electricity divided by the total number of kilowatts purchased. Now that will vary from month to month, and that varies based on, of course, the wholesale rate, which that's set confidential. And then you have what's called the ERCOT ancillary fees, the transmission costs, and the Brazos transmission costs. And these are all added costs that is required to bring electricity from the plant or wherever to your home or to your place of business. So those are costs that, again, depends on the number of factors that we probably need to get to, and I don't completely understand as well. So anyway, you take those two rates, add them up, and then that comes up with your rate to the customer to 0.143. And my understanding said that would vary from 0.143 to 0.161 from month to month. Some months we're going to be just a tad higher than our competitor, our local competitor, and then some months will be a little bit lower. So it will vary. Now, they may claim that theirs is much cheaper, but theirs is broken out a little bit different from ours. And I don't think we need to completely understand that, but what I do think is important to understand that I think that we're right there with our local competitor. And I think some of the issues I had in the past was that we were much higher. But so somebody might try to argue that we're much higher, but we're really not. Lauren, you want to add anything to that?
No, the biggest issue that we've had in the past is that our billing is very small, right? And so we condense our information and you see what you're being charged for your power. And people don't always take their customer charge off. And that customer charge will make about a 2-cent difference, which is wildly large. So that's why on the next page, if you'll look, the way to configure your bill is to take your bill amount and subtract that customer charge, whether it's 20, 25, or 85, depending on the service that you
have. And the reason I have that customer charge, remember, is that we did that to offset the amount that we owe for the winter freeze. So that's where we generate that money to pay that off. So that's why that's there. So at the end of when we get that paid off, then the council will have the option to drop that off or lower that or whatever the option to do.
So, just the residential side of it, if you're gonna work your bill backwards, which is what the public will do, they'll get their bill and they'll say, oh my gosh, I paid 17 cents kilowatt hour, and you'll say, no, you didn't. Take that bill, minus your customer fee, that amount gets divided by your kilowatts, and that gives you your rate. And so we will not be selling power for 17 cents a kilowatt hour. But if they don't know how to average their bill out correctly, they can get the wrong number. So that's why they need to know to take that customer charge out. It makes a really big difference. Other energy companies, when you get a bill, it's this long and it separates everything. You're buying power for 0.0482, which is what our energy charge is, right? And then here's your PCF and your transmission costs are $38,000, and here's this, that, and your customer charge, and your bill's this long. And it's very difficult to read. Ours is nice and condensed, but you don't get the breakdown. And so, we just need to make sure that we tell our people, if the panic ensues because people are just gonna pay more and it's gonna cause people to ask questions, is to know you have to take that customer charge off and then divide it by the kilowatt hours to get a real rate. And it is very much market value. We are not overpriced at all. And we're running an entire city off of a market value electric rate. So it's not, we're running police departments and street departments, and it's not overpriced at all. It's very much market value.
Thank you, Lauren. So I would just really encourage y'all to read this and read it 2 or 3 times. I think it's really been simplified, and that way you're equipped. You might want to carry your billfold in your back pocket, and someone blindsides you, you pull that out and just kind of talk it down. And certainly welcome to come talk to Lauren out if you want to understand a little bit more, or you can encourage them to talk to us. We'd be glad to do that as well. But we just want to make sure we hit this off, and y'all's council members, anyone that's going to get
probably the questions.
I got something to say to that. That's funny that you said something about people adding their bills up. I had a person come to me the other day and they added their bill up and they was paying $11 and some change more than what it figured, their actual bill. Well, the next thing they said was I would hate to live without my electricity. So, you know, if my bill's $300 and I get a bill for $450, I'm gonna pay it because I'm not living without electricity.
And I think that's a good point, but I think it's important that we reiterate that we were very, very diligent, very intentional, and we've had one of the best engineers, in the state to negotiate this with us and find the best value for our citizens. So we just didn't blindly, go get a contract. And we felt like our contract is competitive and it's at market value.
And y'all did a really good job of this contract 3 years ago. You have saved the citizens of Seymour an extensive amount of money since the winter break. You signed this contract in January of 20, and that freeze happened in February of 20, and everybody else has been screwed since February of 20, or since March, when everyone got their ancillary fees. So if y'all hadn't negotiated such a fantastic contract in January of 2020, our people would have felt the heat of that for the last 3 years, and they haven't, because that contract was good. And now we're being forced into market value, where it was real, we've been living in the tall grass for the last 3 years.
Well, and Dr. Frazier made a really good effort to keep going back to the engineering company. Can you do better? Can you do better? Can you do better? And I think one advantage on this is it's 3 years. And I mean, you're rolling the dice really. In 3 years, is it going to be higher? Is it going to be lower? I mean, is it going to be lower next year or higher next year? You don't know. But 3 years, I think, is a pretty decent amount of time to kind of figure out. Again, we might want to get in a 10-year deal sometime. I know they did once before, and we got killed on, for 10 years. So I guess that makes me leery, but I think 3 years was a good number.
And all the conversations I had through this process is that you're gonna see that rate continue to go up. This is the mentality, again, of the market. You're not gonna see those prices go down. I mean, there's no guarantee, but that's what everybody's saying, so. All right, well, if you don't mind, do your homework, let us know how we can support you, so you're better equipped. If you have a question, that's in my report.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Brewer. That concludes the administrative report. Let's go to number 5, public hearings. There's a public hearing concerning, or in regards to a zoning change of 603 and 605 North Main. It's legally described as Lot 4, Block 7, subdivision Ryman 2nd, west 50 feet, and the south 2/3 of Block G, Ryman 2nd Edition. The west 50 feet of Lot 4, the west 50 feet, the north 1/2 of Lot 5, and Lot 5, Block 7, the second subdivision, Ryman subdivision. The south 1/2 of Lot 5, Block G, Ryman Edition, Seymour, and all of 6, Lot 6, and Seymour, Texas zoning will change from an R1 residential to a D2 commercial, and that's the most complicated legal description of the city of Seymour I think I've ever seen. But
I was gonna ask you to read it, please.
could you repeat that? Yeah. Lauren, you want to address this, or Dr. Frazier?
You have a list, there's second page in that public hearing, shows all the people that we contacted. We only heard back from, by letter, the 2 that I have listed, Mr. Simic and Ms. Portwood. One had no opinion, one voted yes. I think, Dr. Frazier, did you have a phone call today on this property? I don't think there was.
I think just, Mr. Gentry had called, just wanted to know more information about it, and I explained to him, and I think he was good with that. He wanted to know exactly what he was using it for, and I said, he just sort of develop the property, and or maybe sell it for some profit, was my understanding.
We don't really know, he hasn't clarified what his plan is with it, but it didn't look like there was an opposition, that was not his phone call. So, it seems that we have no opinions and a yes in response.
Okay, any questions? More discussion? I don't want to read this again, I do know that.
You know,
Do we need a motion on this, I guess, to,
Not the hearing.
not that, it's public hearing, excuse me.
Let's go to the-
Okay, we've done that. We'll go to the consent agenda. Approval of the November 16th, 2023 regular city council meeting minutes. Approval of city Seymour accounts payable bills for the month of November 2023. Approval of the agreement for the assessment of collection of taxes. That's all in our packet. I think we've already pretty standard stuff. If anybody's got a question, then we can address it. But, if not, then we'll go to the, action items. Oh Lord, I have to read this.
oh, we gotta have a motion on the consent.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Action items, number 9. Good Lord.
You don't have to read it
Yeah, just say the action.
Can I refer back to number 5?
Honestly, the questions they can give us after.
Okay, okay. I just read that. Are we okay on that, or I don't mind reading it? Okay. Do we have a motion on that?
I make a motion to consider, to approve the zoning change for 603 and 605 North.
Okay, a second?
I second.
Billy Hendrick seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed, say no. It's 5-0. Thank you. Number 10, discuss and consider and take action on resolution 15. Whoop. Beg your pardon? Oh,
Mayor, I make a motion, we adjourn. I second that one too.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We'll keep you on track, Mayor.
Thank you, I need it.
Well, especially when it's adjourn time. I did want you to read number 9, Mark.
I saw them. We're working at the,
And we're gonna,